Good afternoon. Hello, I'm Casey Durango of Go with Casey, where I like to talk about how I've lost 97.4 pounds since starting the ketogenic diet, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life. Can everyone see me and hear me? And I have a little bit different camera setup today, so do I look weird? Weirder than usual? I'm going to adjust something here. Hello, hello. Can everyone see me and hear me? I'm going to just start talking and hope that you can. Today's topic, thank you very much. Appreciate it, Nancy. Today, I didn't even put the word keto in the title of today because I want to talk about something that can go hand in hand with when you're trying to get control of your life or feel better or make sense of it all. First of all, I do want to say what the ketogenic protocol is, because that's what I talk about. This is, after all, Go Keto with Casey. The ketogenic protocol is one whereby you lower your carbohydrate intake to a level where your liver quits pumping out glucose for fuel, and our bodies happily switch over to burning fat for fuel, ketone bodies, hence the name, and we can mobilize body fat. It suppresses appetite. We eat less. We're more satisfied. And there are a host of other benefits, including helping with inflammation and all sorts of other things. So how do you do that? Lay off the carbs. Actually, the food piece is pretty straightforward. Lay off the carbs. If you need a food list, there's a link to Dr. Westman's copyrighted page 4 below, but you don't even need a food list. Just eat fatty sources of protein, a bit of full fat dairy if you can tolerate it and like it. It's not unlimited. And a bit of non-starchy vegetables and leafy greens a day, limited up as well. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. Okay, so that sounds okay. Good. Yeah. That's okay. So what's next? Once we get the food nailed, which really is, unless we concentrate on overcomplicating it, which some of us do, and let's face it, there are voices out there that want it to seem complicated so they can sell you something to make it easy. But it is simple. Keep your carbs low. Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. What do I mean by that? Because we have all these voices in our heads. And I'm not talking about the external voices of people trying to sell keto products or insisting that there's only one way to follow the protocol. Whatever works for you, do it. You don't have to listen to a white-haired talking head on the YouTubes and do it the way I do it. I just share what worked for me, how I learned it and how I've practiced it these many 6.5 years. Did I say I've lost 97.4 pounds? I can't remember how I even started the introduction today. But there are voices inside our heads. Now, there are voices directly around us. Skeptical voices. I think I did last week's live stream on keto skeptics. Someone says, "Oh, wow, you look great. What are you doing?" And then you say, "Oh, I'm doing the ketogenic diet." And then you get the big eye roll. Oh, okay. Good luck with that. You'll never be able to keep it up. That's the kind of voice. That's the kind of words that can matter. If we're very strong-willed, it might be easier for us to tune those voices out. If we are not, if we're more prone to listen to people, or we have enough self-doubt, or if that's just our way, it can be difficult. Now, I'm going to warn you, no one is writing. Can you guys still hear me? Sometimes I just lose connection for some reason. So just give me a thumbs up. I don't mean a thumbs up for the video. I mean, just say, hey. That's what I mean. I don't like when people ask me to give a thumbs up and subscribe. So words matter. The words that people use towards us can be very difficult to hear sometimes, particularly when we're feeling good. Yay, us. And then someone says, you'll never be able to stick to it, or you're going to have a heart attack, or, oh, really, this is another one of your diets? Or they don't even have to say it. They can just on their face. We've seen you do this before, Casey. And I'm using my name. because I can't say all of yours. But we've probably seen that look before. Oh, that's good. Good for you. You're on a diet. Oh, good. I'm sure you'll be very successful. What's even more important to overcome are the words that we use ourselves about ourselves. How many times do we say out loud or think negative things about ourselves? I heard a line on last night we were watching something. It was really well written. And it was a man, he was in therapy. And he was a troubled man. And the psychiatrist said, why are you so willing to own your failures and disregard your triumphs? And I thought, well, that is kind of what a lot of us do, isn't it? We might tell ourselves, I never stick to something. If we frame our lives with our own words and thoughts in a way that is make us bound to fail, why are we surprised when we struggle for success? So let's not say things like I never stick to anything, or I will never be able to give up something. For me, I would say and think I could not give up tortilla chips. There were a lot of other foods I wasn't, it wasn't just tortilla chips. Followed closely by pizza. But think of how illogical and unhealthy and unhelpful that is for ourselves to say, I'll never be able to give up chocolate. Or bread is my weakness. I have a t-shirt that says, I'm stronger than a cookie. I didn't used to be stronger than a cookie or a tortilla chip or a slice of pizza or French fries. I would tell myself, I just can't do this. And guess what? I couldn't until I did. Around Go Keto with Casey, and FYI, quick plug, because I know a couple of folks are here, my private Patreon support group. I do 5 videos a week for patrons only, and about 5 or 6 patron-only video live streams. Live streams and patron-only video group sessions and monthly one-on-ones, depending on the pledge level. Thinking you can see the link below for that. But around our group, we've actually instituted changing certain words or not using them. We practice not using certain phrases. Like we don't say plateau or stall. We say hover. That implies that we're just we're hanging out here right now at this weight, and we will eventually get lower, as anything that hovers usually, eventually does. And we work on not saying things like, I've only lost 4 pounds this month. Just remove the word only and put an exclamation point at the end of that sentence. So say, I've lost 4 pounds this month. Those words matter. The way we think about it. Because we wouldn't say, I only put on 4 pounds this month. There was that woman, though, in my 600-pound life. She was rather defensive. And she was really proud that she had only put on 4 pounds when she was supposed to lose 30 pounds in a month. But anyway, and we tell ourselves things like, even something as benign as, oh, wow, my clothes are getting bigger. You know what? Your clothes aren't getting bigger unless you have a surreptitious tailor coming in and altering things. You are getting smaller. But we're hesitant to frame it like that. Yes, I'm getting smaller. By gum, I'm much smaller than I used to be. I can't show you my before photos. You can see them at my blog. I was 97 I'm actually 115 and a half pounds off my heaviest weight, and I'm 5'1", so I was perfectly round. People would say, you should get in shape. I say, I am. Round is a shape. Ha ha ha. I would laugh about my fat self. But the words we say things to and about ourselves we would never say or even think about someone else. And if someone else said those words to us that we think ourselves, we'd be offended. Something like, well, you'll never be able to stick to it. Oh, if someone said that to me, they would no longer be my friend. They would start to be someone that just someone I used to know. I mean, that would be mean, right? But we might say it to ourselves. Words matter. The words we use with other people to other people matter. The words other people use to us matter. The words we use about ourselves and to ourselves are possibly the most important. Just think about how we can probably all of us recall some point in our lives when someone said that ugly thing to us. We might have been 8 years old. We might have been 22. It might have been last week. And think about how you can call up the feeling and the anxiety and the hurt, and it's just like you're reliving it. Now imagine that you're doing that to yourself all day, every day. Words matter. Someone gives you a compliment, and oh wow, you look good. Have you lost weight? Oh yes, I've lost 10 pounds. I've got a long way to go. Leave that last part off. What does it matter how much you have to go? Because see, that's dismissing our own triumph. It's qualifying it. And also it is giving the impression, I don't want you to think that I'm proud of myself, because who am I to be proud of myself? No, be proud. You don't have to be a jerk. There's a line between being boastful and an egomaniac and a malignant narcissist, and just being proud of yourself, along with being aware of our challenges. We all have challenges, and some days we struggle. That's another Go Keto with Casey word. I was trying to get out the words struggle and stumble one morning pre-coffee, which is when I make the videos, and it came out strumble. We all stumble from time to time on something. It doesn't have to be about food. It can be on something else. But words matter. Try to frame things in a positive way. Not, I'm going to try to do better this week. Just say, I'll be doing better this week. Or, I don't know about tomorrow, but today I'm going to do what I intend to do. Not I'm going to try to do it, because you've already planted the seed of possible not getting there. As Yoda said, do or do not, there is no try, or something like that. And sorry for the bad Yoda impression. Words matter. I'm sending out cards. I don't have one to show you. I send out inspirational cards to my patrons at certain levels every couple of months, 2 or 3 months, because I really do believe words matter. And some people have shown where they have a vision board, and they stick these my cards along with other things up to inspire them. The one I'm sending out now says, if I don't need it, no, it says, note to self, if I don't need it, I don't eat it. That is all. Not, I'm going to try to avoid peanut butter. No. If I don't need it, I don't eat it. Words matter. We can use them to our benefit, and we don't have to tell anybody that we're doing it. If you are self-conscious about trying to be proud of yourself, that's okay. You don't have to say the words out loud if you don't want to, but you can own them inside your brain. And I had to learn to stop doing that. I was the queen of self-deprecation. I wanted to make a joke about my fat self before anyone else had a chance to, even if they wouldn't have done it. I wanted to say what I assumed they were thinking, and I wanted to own the joke on myself. Consequently, I went around saying a lot of very negative things about myself in a so-called funny, joking manner because I'm a wit. But it wasn't nice to do to myself. And it made other people uncomfortable, I'm sure, in retrospect. I had to train myself to stop doing that. Even when I was still quite large, I just had to, the first step was to stop saying it when it came into my mind. I might still have the thought, but I had to disconnect between my brain and my mouth, which is hard for me. And then when I had the thought, I had to say, okay, thank you, thought. Thanks for showing up, but I'm inviting you to leave. I mean, that sounds really touchy-feely, but it's helpful. And so I slowly quit thinking these things about myself. I wasn't happy with myself. I just wasn't thinking such ugly thoughts about myself. Then I just got to a point where I didn't feel well physically or emotionally, and I was 55 and I was morbidly obese, and I knew I was going to have to take insulin for type 2 diabetes at my next doctor's visit. And I had given up on losing weight. I mean, when you say I've given up, that's words that matter. That's not good. Never give up. Never, ever, ever give up. But we can stop thinking the things, even if no one else knows that we're even thinking them. Stop thinking them. Reframe yourself. Little things like standing up straight and holding yourself with confidence. When you don't feel good about yourself, sometimes we tend to hunch over and try to, it's like if I'm going to make myself as small as possible so no one can see me because I'm so big, or I feel unattractive, or whatever it might be. We need to quit calling ourselves failures. We are not going to call it cheating when we make a decision to eat a certain food. You're not stepping out on your partner. It's deciding to eat a certain food. You're an adult. If you make the decision, own it. Don't say I cheated. Just say I decided to eat the cake. It's not something I'm going to do. I'm making the decision not to do that. But everyone needs to do what works for them. Keep in mind, if it's not working for you, then have a conversation with yourself. We don't, what else, some of you are around, what else do we not say around Go Keto with Casey? I can't recall some of them. I'll jump in. So I'm just going to reiterate, words matter. Don't say something about yourself or to yourself that you would never say about or to another person. And certainly don't think things that you would, if someone else said them to you, you would be insulted. Reframe your thinking. Maybe feelings follow behavior. Maybe feelings follow thoughts. And if you think better about yourself, you might feel better about yourself. And then follow through with feeling better, because that's the whole point of doing this. Fitting into a size 6 jeans is a lot of fun. Feeling like you're not dreading waking up the next day, even better. I am now going to attempt to turn my attention to the comments. I have this different setup, and I don't know that I'll be able to see them as well, but let's see. Sheila writes, agree, Casey, trying sets you up for failure by definition. And let's not say that. I'm going to suggest, if you haven't already done so, I'm going to suggest you watch an episode or two of My 600-Pound Life, not to be a voyeur on people's personal trauma, because most of the folks have suffered personal trauma. That's not the point. I mean, that's rather prurient. But listen to the words they say. And then ask yourself, oh my gosh, that's what I say too. Like, I use food to cope. No, actually, by definition, you're using food to not cope. You're using food to deflect whatever you're supposed to be coping with. Food has always been my friend. Food is love in my family. I don't eat that much. It's funny. People should know that there are cameras on them. And then they go and tell Dr. Now, I don't eat that much. But anyway, the things we tell ourselves are exactly the same things that those people tell themselves. It's just they've had a much worse outcome than we have. And some of them are able to reverse that. Anyway, just a suggestion. Ketogenic, do or do not. There is no try. Thank you very much, Jen. Did I say it backwards? Okay, I'm looking. Absolutely agree. Hey, Michelle. Good morning, Casey from Mesa, Arizona. Sheila writes, you wanted to appear. Uh-oh, my dog is going to start barking. I'm going to have to mute. Jen, explain why. I'm so sorry. I bet I lost a lot of viewers. Hey, Jack. So my husband just pulled up on his motorcycle this time. He'd been flying his airplane. What an interesting life we lead. And Jack, our dog, gets very excited when my husband returns. So I'm sorry. And I had to step away, and I hope you didn't see how messy the rest of my house is. Okay, my husband has this really cool brand new motorcycle helmet that is Bluetooth and has a speaker in it and has all this he looks like a cyborg wearing it. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a picture of him. Thank you. Okay, back to this. Karen writes, don't be sorry, I love it. And I'm sure Jen explained, yes, her lovely mate just got home. So thank you. All right. Can any of you think of examples of things that you might say to yourself that you will stop saying? Notice I didn't say you're going to try to stop saying, or you're going to work at stop saying. You're just going to stop saying it. Hey, honey, how was the flight? Good. As long as he landed, it was a good flight. That's what I think. For instance, I still do it. I call myself an idiot out loud, probably 15 times a day. I'll say, you idiot. Or sometimes I'll say it like this old early computer game. I think it was called Asteroids. No, something else. Can't remember. And there was this voice that would say, you idiot. So I'll call myself an idiot because I will have done something. I'll knock something over, forgot to sign a check or something. Good morning from Alberta, Canada. Great topic this morning. I always beat myself up. Donna, can you share? Do you care to share things that you might say that you will stop saying or stop thinking? First, we have to stop thinking it. Imagine, we are humans, even though we are adult humans. Imagine if there was a little recording playing next to your child while they slept. A little recording on their pillow that just kept repeating, you never follow through. You always fall short. You can't live without pasta. Would you? That would be child abuse. But we have that recording going on in our heads. Some of it's on loop. It just keeps playing and playing and playing. We need to stop. The food is easy. No, excuse me. The food is simple. It's what we tell ourselves that can make it hard. Yes, there are outside voices that challenge us. But frankly, we can quit hanging out with those people, even if they're family, or we can lay down the law, or we can have a gentle conversation saying, I'm going to tell you, don't bring up my food choices again. Nobody gets a vote on what I eat. That we have some, we can lay down the law. It is much harder to stop the thoughts in our head, but we can change those as well. We do change them. We can stop seeing one stumble as proof of that there's something wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with us. If we follow the protocol, it works. But you have to follow the protocol. Don't blame keto for what the cheat day did. Don't blame keto for what net carbs did. And oh my goodness, do not buy products that say keto. Every week, 2 or 3 times, I get an email from someone wanting to do a collaboration because they love my content, which they clearly never paid any attention to, because then they want to send me a nice big box of bars and cookies and syrups. And I don't mean like Jordan skinny syrup. I mean like stuff that just says it's keto. It just says keto on it. If Gray's Custom Trim is here, he's always really good at pulling out numbers. And he's been very successful. Oh boy. He came home with a check. I like that even better. We're both self-employed. Hey, Country Life. Well, the recorder really got my attention. Oh, the one talking about, yeah, would you do that to a child or to somebody else if you're trying to gaslight your partner? Yes. The house is haunted. The house is haunted. You're trying to gaslight somebody. Hello, Cieda Sabina Sneed. And I hope I'm reading that right. I'm not wearing my glasses. What is something I've said this earlier. I used to actually say, I can't go the rest of my life without eating tortilla chips. What a ridiculous thing to say. I've been through a lot of stuff in my life. We all have. I mean, terrible things. We all have. And to say I'm powerless against tortilla chips was ridiculous. That's why I'm stronger than a cookie. And you can get a t-shirt or a mug or something like that below. Oh, this t-shirt says I can and I will. It doesn't say I'm going to try. It's IC and IW. Go Heater Casey. You can always get one of those t-shirts below. Speaking of which, you don't have to buy anything to be 100% successful at this. Another thing we tell ourselves, I'll start on Monday. Or I'll start after the summer's over. Or the first of the month. Or the first of the year. Or after the wedding. There will always be a reason to not be doing this. I mean, there's a reason. See, I just did it. There's not a reason to not do this. I just used the wrong words. We can always come up with an excuse why it's not convenient. How convenient is type 2 diabetes and losing a foot or a kidney or your eyesight or having high blood pressure or keeling over from metabolic disease? How convenient is that? This is not inconvenient. It's just food. All you're doing is laying off the carbs. Some words that we might hear or tell ourselves is it's too hard or it's too expensive. Nope. Some of the cheapest cuts of meat and poultry are the ones that are the best for this protocol. The cheap cuts that come with the fat and the skin and the bones. Beef liver, chicken liver, peasant food. Just lay off the carbs. Hey, Linda. Linda's, if you can see, she's in green and she has a little mug. She's a member of the Go Keto with Casey Club on YouTube, and I really appreciate it. Believe it or not, every little bit helps. I left my former career to do this, and I'm much more gratified doing this. But my former career was very lucrative, which is why I'm so glad that my husband came home with a check. I don't even know where that's from. We're glad about that. And Karen Anderson writes, it's actually cheaper for me to eat this way. Our grocery bill has steadily declined. And we eat well. We eat ribeye, prime rib, scallops, salmon. And then we also have beef liver. There's Spam in my pantry. And we have eggs. You can see we're way low on eggs today. Actually, someone came by and bought 5 dozen eggs this morning. So we're low. We only have about 3 dozen right there. Eggs, bacon, sausage. You can eat breakfast all day long if you want. Let's not tell ourselves it's too expensive or it's too hard or it's not sustainable. I've been doing this for 6.5 years. My husband's been doing it for 6, and he never had a weight issue or a health issue. It just made logical, good sense to him. He started about 6 months after I did. Plus, he saw the change in my mood. My friend, Jackie Eberstein, who ran Dr. Atkins' clinic with him for 30 years, up until his untimely death, after slipping on ice and getting a concussion. No, he did not die of heart disease. She's been doing it since 1974. So there's that. What is not sustainable is type 2 diabetes. You can sustain it until you keel over from it. Anna Taylor writes, I feel like I overload on protein. Yeah, this is not a high protein diet. This is a moderate protein, and what level of protein that is depends on you. It's not a high protein diet. See, a lot of the prepared foods, they push the protein. There's a high protein shake, a high protein bar. Who cares? I can get my protein from my eggs and my bacon and a chicken thigh. I don't need to eat a bar to get protein. I don't need a shake. But the reason they're pushing the protein is that's easier than getting the carbs low. And then they also push net carbs, which is just eating more carbs or consuming more carbs. Donna Stockman writes, I have to tell you this funny story. One day my husband asked me if I wanted a piece of his chocolate bar. I just said, no, I'm starting my diet today. And he replied, but it's not Monday. That's funny. But it's not Monday. Good on you for breaking the mold. And I started, I don't know, I'll have to look it up. I don't know what day of the week, January 8th, 2014 was. I started January 8th, 2014. And I know a lot of people can call the day that they started this protocol because it's changed their lives. It changed mine in every aspect. Ketogenic writes, stressful week, found out I need to buy a new dishwasher. Guess what? Still eating keto. Getting upset and going off the plan wouldn't fix my dishwasher. Good for you, ketogenic. And that is another thing. I was doing great, and then life happened. Please tell me when life stops happening. We found out my Lexus was getting flooded through. We couldn't figure it out where there was something in the sunroof that was diverting it down, and my feet were in water. There was a puddle. And so we took it in $1,613.68 later. What are you going to do? Right. Tortilla chips would not have fixed the car. And even something as dramatic as losing a loved one. Many times I hear from people, I was doing great, and then my mother passed. Or, someone they love passed. I don't like to say this, but they're still gone. We call it comfort food, but it's not comfort. It's almost torture. We might feel sedated for the 8 seconds that it takes to swallow the food and the 8 inches it takes to get down from our mouth through our epiglottis. But then we feel miserable because then we do feel like a failure. So just avoid that. Avoid the behavior that makes you feel bad about yourself. Easy to say, not always easy to implement, but just because it's not easy doesn't mean it's not doable. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, and don't smoke. Esoteric Book Review writes, I've got lamb's liver for dinner, delicious and cheap. It is. And animal liver is the most nutritious food you can eat. It is extremely nutrient dense. Live, chill life. Same with me. At Karen Anderson, I spend about $45 a week on groceries. Hey, Judy Tucker. She's a patron, and what a woman. Judy, you want to share how much weight you've lost? And she's been a farmer all of her life, a serious farmer, 40 acres. And Judy, tell them how much you used to weigh and we're still having to be a farmer and all the work that entails. Judy writes, I always hear it's not healthy to not eat vegetables and fruit. My answer is always the same. It's working for me. You know who decided that we needed 5 servings of fruit and vegetables a day? The fruit and vegetable growers at a meeting in California in 1991 in a conference room. Seriously, honestly, that's where that recommendation came from. Vegetables simply are not that nutritious. Hey, Scott, also a patron. True, we often show more grace to others than we do to ourselves. We tend to judge and label ourselves by the lowest point or the worst day in our past. Definitely true about our eating and weight. It is true. We own our failures. We tuck our triumphs away for some reason. We can learn from our disappointments. And we shouldn't call them failures. No. Disappointments. Things that didn't go the way we wanted them to go, the way we planned to have them go. We learn from them and we adjust our behavior going forward. It's a lesson learned. Some of us need to learn these lessons many times. Okay, Judy Tucker writes, I started April 1st, 2018. And Linda writes, meds are expensive and not satisfying. Excellent. Yes, meds are expensive and not that satisfying. Lori Markham writes, yes, so many people say I can never give up fruit. Tell you the truth, I don't miss it. Here's the thing. After a while, the thing that you thought you couldn't give up, not only do you not crave, you don't even think about it. And sometimes the thought of it makes you get a little headache. Linda, I really like that. Meds are expensive and not satisfying. This food is inexpensive and quite satisfying. So I'm 62. My husband is 60. Neither of us are on any medications. And I was on the brink of needing them all. When we go for a checkup, whatever, you have to always do the history. Are you on any medications? Nope. None. Like, they don't blame me. Nope. Wow. I was waiting for one of my meetups to start. Go Keto with Casey meetup at Wine's House. By the way, I might be starting those back up in October. I'm going to be very cautious. And we can do it outside and stuff. I was there reading a book, waiting for people to show up. And there was a group of women, another table over. And, some people enjoy poor health. They really want to share with you all the medications that they're taking. They just love to list them off. So this woman said, yeah, he's got me on so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. Bum, 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 bum. She said, that's 19 medications. And, her friends were looking at her. And she says, it's a good thing I'm healthy. And she was not saying that there was no irony. She was just so grateful that she thought she was healthy and that the 19 medications were keeping her healthy. I don't think that word means what she thinks it means, to quote the Princess Bride. I am going to wrap this up. Thank you. I'm going to go visit with my husband. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. I really appreciate it. Be kind to yourself. Be firm with yourself. Be honest with yourself. And choose your words carefully. Those that come out of your mouth and those that creep into your brain. And if they creep in, acknowledge them and invite them to leave. Flip the script on your own thinking. And as I've often said, and I'm talking about everything about this, about the weight loss and flipping the script and feeling that if I can do this, you can do this. And Jen, sorry about the dishwasher. It's a drag. It's never a good time to have to replace an appliance. But good on you for staying keto. See you next time.